Okay, I just spent, there it is. I just spent probably half an hour looking around the house for the book that I'm reading right now, Three Men in a Boat by Jerome K. Jerome. Finally remembered where I put it earlier in the day. I say that to say you almost didn't get a video recorded on time because I could not find that thing. These are the important things. It's been a pretty good week for getting things done in terms of advancing the film, but it's not the kind of stuff that is visible, tangible. It's not something I can really show you. I've mentioned before that the inspiration for doing this, for providing regular updates, comes from what Peter Jackson did with King Kong. The difference between a documentary, or even this particular documentary, and a scripted narrative film like that is once a narrative film goes into pre-production, there's always something going on. Somebody is sewing a costume, someone is building a set. There's things, and then once you're shooting, it's almost a daily thing where something exciting for the film student who would want to watch something like that. There's almost always something going on that is actually exciting. This has been, even before you joined me in January of 2025, this has been an interview here, and months later another interview there, and me making some phone calls and sending some emails. Excuse me, some of which I need to ramp up again. It was last year. It's been a full year since one of the earliest things I did was go around to many of the gyms in this area, not all of them, but many, and actually leave a letter with the people at the front desk saying, hey, this is what I'm doing. Would you be interested in working with me, letting me film some interviews here, maybe some footage? And one gym got back to me, and that was after a full 4 months. I sent them a letter in January, and then I sent them another one in February, and then I sent them another one in March. And this is the gym I go to. This is the gym where I'm a customer or a client, and I'm paying them money. Could not get anyone to answer me. And so, was it a year ago? It was a year ago, April 2024. I decided, okay, I'm going to call them every single day until somebody replies. So every night, April 1st, left a message. April 2nd, left a message. April 3rd, left a message. They finally emailed back and said, no, you can't film here. The rationale, they gave me two rationales. The one over the phone was the owners don't want to disrupt the setting. They don't want to have to tell people you can't work out here right now, or nobody can make any noise. I don't think they fully understood how little I would be in anyone's way, but they didn't even give me a chance. They didn't call and say, let's talk. Because the other thing they said was corporate won't let us. It is a franchise. It's a major company, and the one I work out is just one franchise of many. So it's getting late. So I actually will need to, I do plan to actually write to corporate and see if I can get their permission. And if they say yes, then we'll find out if that's the real reason why they didn't want me shooting at my gym. But yeah, I did actually, some of you may have even caught earlier versions of this. I did attempt a video series a few years ago. And boy, it's a good thing I kind of gave up on it, said not yet. So you're watching the official one, which started in January of 2025, and we'll just keep plowing ahead. But I think this year is going to be different. I think this is the year where making a vlog is going to have a certain amount of interest, even though you may be looking at the calendar going, Brian, it's been 4 months and you've just been talking at us. So, anyway, all that to say, what I did last week, back up even further. One thing I've been doing, knowing that there was a day coming when I would be ready to start really pushing this thing, is that anytime I was browsing Instagram, came across a guy who was a fitness influencer, a personal trainer, or just a guy who's got a gallery, wants to share his progress, I don't know, get attention, get likes, whatever he's doing it for, whether he's a total narcissist or just a guy having fun like me. That's why I'm on Instagram. I do not have the body to be a narcissist on my fitness Instagram, but I'm having fun with it. It helps motivate me. But anyway, as I was browsing Instagram, if I'd come across somebody who in their bio or as part of the caption of their photos, it said something like Oregon or Washington or Idaho. This is bad tonight. This is really bad. I would just save one of those pictures. I didn't need to save the whole bio or bookmark it or anything. I just save one of them. Instagram has a little function where I want to save that photo. So I've been doing that, and I've been compiling them in a subfolder within Instagram, labeled, I forget what I labeled it, possible film, whatever. Last week, I went through that whole thing, and I started breaking that out into subfolders, sub-subfolders. Local, so Central Oregon, Bend, Redmond, Prineville, Madras, Sisters, Lapine, what's north of Madras? Warm Springs. So then there's a second folder, I think I called it Pacific Northwest. So I took everybody who I'd be willing to drive there if I could get 3 or 4 interviews in one trip. Drive there, if it's 6, 7, 8 hours a day, 6, 7, 8 hours away, drive there, get a hotel room, then go out the next day, get 3 or 4 interviews, spend the next night in the hotel, and then drive home again, at a minimum. If I get enough interviews, I'll stay 2 or 3 days and pop around and hopefully even get some of them while they're working out at the gym, get some B-roll footage like that. Whatever I can get, pack it all into one trip, that's great. But that would be the idea. That would be ideal, is we pop out, get a lot in one region, and then come back. So then I organized it like that, and then I created a third folder called Road Trip, and those are ones that are further out, and they're going to have to be after either I get my tax refund or somebody comes along and says, I love this idea, here's several $1,000s. Because on my income, I'm not going to be able to pack up and drive to, Texas. I do have it in mind to do kind of a big loop. I won't go into it there. I have a reason for it, but it would be down to California, then over to Texas, and then all the way up to South Dakota and back again. That is not actually related to the film. But if I brought along the camera and the gear and could line up people along the way, that would make the trip, that would give the trip 2 reasons to exist. It would benefit the film. So I created those 3 folders, and then I started going through anything that was local or Pacific Northwest, saving the road trip for once I know I can afford it. And I just started sending each one of them a copy of the video that I made. I created one. Did I tell you this last week? I created one. Well, I created the base, the 4-minute base. I know I've shown you that. And then I created one that had me introducing the project for local people and explaining how that would work. And then a third one, which is the second big one, introducing it to people who live in the Pacific Northwest and saying, here's how we can go from there. And then I spent hours going through. It's okay, that one. The formula, I believe I've heard, is you have to give out 100 business cards if you want 5 responses. It's not quite the same as business cards, so I don't know what the formula would be. I do know, based on a couple responses I got, that what has happened to most of these men, since we don't mutually follow each other, what Instagram has probably done is sent my message off to the like the spam folder, the hidden folder, however you want to put it. And I think most of them have not even seen it. It's getting late. So I have a plan to overcome that. I won't bother you with it now. I did get some responses. And I'm going to stress, I've said this kind of thing before, I'm going to stress it here, because what I don't want is to say, hey, this person said they're interested. I don't think anybody's going to be following along this closely and with a notepad paying attention. But I don't want people to watch the final film and go, didn't you say in your vlog that so-and-so was going to be in it? And then who knows what rumors would start. I don't know. Hollywood has a press machine. They can send out press releases, and they can update you as we go. I have this vlog. So I don't want to name someone and then they don't end up in it and people start wondering why. Did Brian and the guy have a falling out? They just couldn't see eye to eye. The guy ended up not liking the project. One of the things I'm offering, especially if they are professionals, if they're personal trainers, they earn a living at this, and they agree to be in the film, I'm also going to let them watch the film before I release it to the public, before it is done and ready to go, to make sure that they are represented fairly, and that their appearance in the film is not going to give them a bad reputation and possibly cost them business. Where was I going with that? Anyway, I totally lost my train of thought. Spam folders. I don't know. Wow. Okay. Oh yeah, why you may not. So anyway, I just say that to say if I mention them here, it's because I'm excited and I'm talking with them. Got a guy named Casey Lenning over in Eugene, Oregon. Coleman Moore over in Idaho Falls. A guy that I have worked with before, I forget his name now. He just goes by Coop on Instagram. He's over in Portland. I actually have met him for a different project. I've written to Mark Dugdale. You may or may not know that name. Back when I was fat and uncomfortable, and I was starting to research working out, I would see, I'd go to a weightlifting site, a bodybuilding site, and of course they'd have, success stories. And Mark Dugdale was one who, this photo had me going, wow, that's inspiration to get going. And I hope, you didn't come here expecting to see bodybuilders in posing suits. I hope that didn't surprise you just now. But so I've written to him. I don't think it's probably in his spam box as well. I'll tell you the one that kind of has me the most excited right now. I'm always happy to have someone say, "Hey, I'm interested." The one that has me most excited is a guy out in Rexburg, Ohio, Idaho, DJ Richens, because I sent him the message and he saw it and he wrote back and he was basically, yes. In fact, he says, "I am 100% open to this. Fitness saved my life. I would love to share my story with you." So we talked, and he explained to me what he meant by fitness saved my life. He was in a life-threatening car accident, I think. Don't quote me. He, where is it? He got hit by a car 3 blocks from where he lived, spent months in the hospital, had to relearn how to walk and talk and eat. And so this could almost be his own movie, but definitely want to get out there. In the moments I have left, I'll say this: Rexburg is a little further away than I was wanting to go. It would line up with, I think it was Coleman. Coleman lives out in, no, don't quote me on that. Somebody said, "I'm interested, but I'm out in Idaho Falls." I don't see it on Coleman's conversation. Yeah, there it is, Idaho Falls. Idaho Falls and Rexburg are half an hour away from each other, so if I could get out there, which is 9 hours away, I could do both of them. That's a fair amount of money. So if anybody watching this, of the 10 to 12 that I get regular views on YouTube, and you'd be interested in sponsoring that trip for about $300, let me know. I'll put your name in the end credits, and make sure you get that appreciation. And that would help me get at least 2 interviews, and I would see who else I could get while I was out there. That would be gas. hotel, a little bit of meals on the way, and any difference between the $300 and the actual cost, I would go ahead and cover. That's the price I'm going to put on sponsoring this trip if somebody is interested, $300. Anyway, that's what happened. I reached out to a lot of people. I've heard from a couple, including some local friends. I will reach out to more, and I know a way to get this to the attention of those who it may have slipped past them into their spam box, but I have to go. Have a good night.